What's up, guys? We are back with another Mythic Legions review, taking a look at something that's... Is it new? Is it not new? I'm not really sure how to describe this one because it is a two-in-one kind of thing. So we're taking a look at this big guy today. We got the newest troll, but of course he's not actually a new troll. So this is the Stone Troll 2.0 figure, and what makes him sort of unique is that the trolls were never really meant to have their heads come off. This guy does, because it's the Stone Troll, but he has a Forest Troll head in the Stone Troll colors in the box. And then he also has the Stone Troll head as an accessory. So if you, like me, you missed the Stone Troll, you now have one. If you missed the Forest Troll, you've also got one here, but he's just a different color this time around. So a good way for someone to get in on some trolls that they might have missed out on years back. This guy does come in the big, massive standard size packaging for the trolls. So you've got that fantastic Nate Bear's artwork on the front and all over the sides, and then it's all over the back, the whole deal. But what's really weird about this one is that it does have sort of a factory error. So the bio card on the side is for the Ice Troll. So there was clearly some miscommunication at the factory, and they put this guy's bio card on here and not whatever this one's actually supposed to be. I'm not really sure if it was going to be new or not, but either way, it's not on the box. That's not too big a deal for me personally because we're going to do what we do. So let's pull them out and take a look. And here we go, out of the package, our Stone Troll 2 figure. So this guy, again, is a kind of a mashup figure. So this is the Stone Troll look, the color scheme, the paint job, but this head sculpt is the original Forest Troll. And this guy is the first troll that comes with a swappable head. So you'll be able to take the Forest Troll head off and swap the Stone Troll head on. So if you missed one or either or both or whatever, you'll be able to sort of fill in those holes in your collection. I've got the Forest Troll already, but I never got a Stone Troll, so now I can finally sort of fill that slot within my Legion. So it's a pretty cool way for them to get this back out there. So let's get started, see what this guy can do, see how he moves around. He is not the most mobile figure. If you've messed with one troll, you've messed with them all. So he has some articulation, but he is mostly going to be like a huge hulking bruiser type background character when it comes to your shelf. So you've got a head that can swivel side to side. It does move a little bit up and down and then a little tilt, but not much. It's a little tiny ball joint in there, so it's mostly just going to be used for rotation like that. I will preface, the joints on this guy are ratcheted, so things are likely going to get loud, but you can move that far out, and you can rotate. And you can tell they're really tight, they're really squeaky. It's not a situation where you're going to need heat or anything, but they are very, very tight in terms of tolerance so that things are sturdy. Because once he's posed, he pretty much stays. You've got rotation at the elbow, and then you've got a hinge, but it's pretty minimal. Just about that. So about that far. And then you've got swiveling wrists. And mine are super tight on this guy, more than I remembered, but he does have swiveling wrists. You do have a waist twist, but it's really, really minor. It's pretty much just a little shimmy. And then when it comes to the legs, he kicks, but he doesn't kick too far. So it's sort of a little further backwards than forwards, but you can get him to kick a little bit. It's not a great deal. And then you have nothing at the knee, and then you have rotation at the ankle. So that's really it. I mean, he doesn't do a great deal. He is very, very minimal when it comes to articulation. But again, at the same time, for something so big and so heavy, it's not unexpected. And really, when you get this guy on your shelf, you're likely not going to be too concerned about how well he can pose because he is a huge focal point when all of your legions are put in front of him. Now, you know what I'm going to say next. This guy is all about the looks. I don't think there's going to be much dispute about that because they don't really move a lot, and they're not really meant to. They're meant to be somewhat posable, huge, hulking background characters. You know, someone that sits behind all of your legions and really is a nice focal point on your display. The troll body is pretty much the same, you know, throughout the troll releases. There's not really a lot that varies between them outside of the color scheme, and then in some ways the soft goods, and then of course the head sculpt. So they all have unique heads until now because we've got a Forest Troll head that is on this Stone Troll. And I do really like this body. When it came time to try to track down the older trolls that I missed, I wasn't able to find this guy for a good price, and it was the one I wanted most. So I'm really a fan of this color scheme, these sort of gray, black, and then slight browns, tans colors when it comes to this, to give him that sort of, like a cave troll kind of a look. If you maybe think of like Lord of the Rings kind of things, when it comes to just being this sort of dark and nasty troll. And I think he looks really good. If you've messed with one troll, you've messed with them all. So you know what to expect when it comes to the overall sculpt and detail. I mean, they are quite literally riddled with sculpt. I mean, they're just covered in it from head to toe, front to back. They've got all these like sort of rocky textures. All of it's individually painted. Tons of little detail as far as sculpt goes to bring out all of this sort of craggy, rock-like texture on this guy. He's got, of course, different varying color schemes with all these little rock plates that are painted sort of a gunmetal-y gray. You've got blacks, you've got tans in there, and then you've got sort of his underbelly, which has a little bit more of a pink hue to it, just to make him look like he's armored on the back and maybe a little bit more exposed on the front. You've got this big sort of iron belt that matches the manacles that wrap around his wrists, and this is sort of like covered by his big fat gut, and of course this houses the soft goods, so he's got sort of like a skin from some sort of beast, and then you've got sort of like a canvas to match like the diaper that's underneath there, because these guys have like a diaper almost underneath them, which is really, really weird from a toy perspective, but as far as construction goes, it works really well. And then of course, you've got this head sculpt up here, which is just awesome. I really do like the forest troll head, and I think it works really well on this body. I'm still a bigger fan of the stone troll head, which we'll talk about here shortly, but this thing works so well here. It is, again, the same head we got with the forest troll, with a few changes. It's got a different color scheme when it comes to the overall paint job, so it matches the body. So you've got this sort of sandy coloration for the underside that matches the body. You've got sort of bone colored teeth almost, and then the one change that I think is the best is these dark red eyes on his face that match what the stone troll actually has. So the forest troll has white eyes, this guy has red, and I really like it. I think it looks fantastic. It clashes really well against that gray, so of course it pops and it stands out. So this guy is a humongous hulking beast of a figure. I think the Horsemen did a great job at the outset with this thing's sculpt, and the paint job is always top notch. I have really no issues with him. He's going to look fantastic alongside the other three. And then we have to, of course, do a size comparison, and I'm just going to stick to Legion stuff because we've got different things within Legions as far as scale goes. So we've got our normal 7-ish inch figure here, we've got a Malleus, and then we've got our ogre scale figure here. And you can see, I mean, this guy, even this big monster, is dwarfed by this troll. They are truly massive figures. They're incredibly tall, and then it's also a bulk and overall width thing. So there is so much plastic when it comes to this troll that it just outclasses everything else in this line. While these guys are a little bit more nimble, this thing has a tremendous shelf presence, and he scales beautifully alongside other Legions. It really puts into perspective how big these things are when you get them next to something that is generally considered to be a very large figure. And then of course a Legions, which is slightly larger than most figures anyway. So there is a lot of plastic when it comes to this release, and of course a great size and presence when you throw him up with other figures in the same line. Now when it comes to accessories, this is where this particular release changes things up a bit. So that other head sculpt was the forest troll head painted in the stone troll color, so it fits this body. This is the actual stone troll head. So you can see the sculpt is entirely different, just an entirely different idea when it comes to this guy, and I absolutely love this head sculpt. It's not my favorite of all the trolls, but of the earlier two, it's my favorite of the bunch, and I think it looks fantastic. The colors look really great on this guy. Paint is really well applied. Sculpt is fantastic. I love the mouth design on this fella. I think it works really well with like the sort of tusks that he has. And it's kind of a smaller head. It's not small, but it's smaller by comparison anyway, in some ways. So this head just looks a little bit more bulbousy in some ways. The ears give it a little bit more presence. He's got a longer nose. This guy doesn't even really have one. So it's an entirely different idea, but I think it looks fantastic. Paint is really well done. Sculpt is fantastic. All that good stuff. And then he does have a weapon, and well, I mean, I've had it in his hand this entire time, but he's got this big monster club here. And like all of the troll weapons, it's actually two pieces. So it's basically like a tree trunk that has been fashioned into a big mace that has a boulder sort of, attached to it with these big iron bands. And I love this weapon. I think it's fantastic. It's a humongous piece too. I mean, it's almost as tall as the figure itself. It's not as tall as like the Ice Troll's sword or anything, but it's a really imposing, massive weapon, and it really conveys a lot of size and shelf presence when it comes to this guy. So again, he has all of the stuff that a troll normally would have, and that is just one weapon, but he's also got the option for a second head sculpt if you want to go back to the regular stone troll, or if you want to have this new forest stone troll mashup. So overall, it's a fun figure. I really like these trolls. That's pretty much all it comes down to. I have the other three. I'm happy to finally have a stone troll. I'm glad I've got options with this guy when it comes to the head sculpt. So if you want to be a little bit different and have the forest troll head on the stone troll body, you've got the choice now. Or if you just want to have a way to get one of these trolls that you missed out on, now is the chance. I think that the Horsemen did a great job when it comes to putting this release together with those options. The troll body is fantastic to begin with. The sculpt, the paint is top-notch. He is, of course, a little bit limited when it comes to articulation, but at the same time, I don't really think that's the point for this guy. He's supposed to be a big showstopper, a scene stealer when it comes to your display or your photography, and it excels at doing that. So that's going to do it for this look at the Mythic Legions All-Stars 3 Stone Troll 2. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.